Hi, good people. This is Deborah. I hope you have a beautiful day. I hope you have a beautiful week. I will use words not intending to offend people, but to describe my point of view and how I see things. Take what resonate with you and what does not resonate with you, put it on the shelf or throw it away. I am very grateful and thankful for my subscribers and my newcomers. Now, this is part two of the melanin video. Bear with me because I am reading from my notes. Uh, okay, now, uh, Genesis 14:18 through 21, and Melchizedek, and I give you the Bible concordance number, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High God. This process was later found in the religions of Osiris and Dialis. Osiris was bread and beer, and Dialis was bread and wine. Genesis 14:19. And he blessed him and said, Blessed be Abram of the Most High God, possessor of heaven and earth. 14:20. And blessed be the Most High God, which have delivered thine enemies into thine hand. And he gave him tithe, Tithes, of all. Okay? Now, Genesis 14:23 says, And the king of Sodom said unto Abram, listen carefully, give me the persons and take the goods to thyself. Okay? Now I'm gonna break these three scriptures down: 14:19, 14:20, and 14:21. In the meantime, I want you to know also the Greek. I'm giving you the Greek, and I'm not going to go through them, but I have attached the Greek letters, which is what the Divine Nine uses. Um, I have attached it to this particular topic. Now, let me break down Melchizedek for you. That's male, Mel, and Chi, and Zedek. Okay, so Melchizedek often interpreted as the energy of light and balance. That's what it means spiritually. There was no man named Melchizedek. They lied to you. Okay, now the energy of light and balance is what Melchizedek means. It's embodied the integrity of life force, enemy, and equilibrium within the body. Male derives from melanin, the pigment responsible for absorbing light and protecting cells. Symbolizes light or energy in a spiritual. Now, in Greek, male finds its root in the word melas, Melas, which translate to black or dark. This connection to darkness often associated with the Great Mother in spiritual context as a layer of intrigue to the concept of male. Now, the reason why it connects with the mother, because keep in mind, the mother is the blackness. The mother is the neutron. That's the blackness. There are no charges there, and there's purpose for that. Okay? Now, Melchizedek represents the soul, the phenomenon principle and the great mother. Why? Because the Thinman principle is protons, which is positive, and neutrons is the darkness, which is the great mother. Melchizedek aligns with feminine rather than the masculine. They gave Melchizedek as the masculine. They knew what they were doing when they were putting this stuff together. Um, Only the higher Masons would know this. The people that are starting out early in the Freemasons, they would know that they at the bottom, so they would know about as much as the outer people would know. Okay, they some make it to the higher level, some of them don't. So they don't. Some of them they don't even let come up there. Okay. Melchizedek represent the feminine archetype in a cosmic spiritual sense. Spiritually, the soul of the Great Mother. The soul is a feminine force, the container of life, the source of creation and nurturing, and where life flows from the feminine is receptive, nourishing, and transformative. It holds and expands all potential, making it the perfect metaphor for the soul. Melchizedek is not a priest traditionally, but symbolizes the soul's spiritual authority over the material world. She offers favors that transcend material wealth and touch on higher spiritual principle of connection and growth. The role of the soul, which is the feminine in creation. The soul represented by Melchizedek is not just a passive, but an actively nourishes the material and spiritual realm. As the soul, Melchizedek represent the unmanifested, the great mother who gives birth to all things. She is the root of creation, the origin of creation forces that shape both the physical world and the spiritual dimension. The feminine holds the creative power to bring balance and harmony. The soul carries the divine blueprint for life, and through its nurturing power, it guides and empowers the masculine, represented symbolically by an electron or active energy. Without the feminine, the masculine would be uh, directless, lacking the grounding and nurturing necessary for creation to strive. The chi, derived from the concept of QI, which refers to the vital energy or the life force, and flows through living beings. And TCM, Chi, is thought to circulate through channels in the body called the meridians. The meridians is another name for the chakra system or crystals. For the crystals, your chakra systems are made of crystals, and that's why you're taught outside of your body to go and buy crystals. Those crystals hold energies of those that purchase those crystals. What I mean by that, the buyer buys the crystals from whoever. So now you got the whoever and the buyer energy attached to those crystals. You have to clean those crystals for those crystals to have the energy that you need. One guy was trying to argue with me, and he lives in North Carolina. He has a store there. Tried to tell me that those crystals work. You don't even know if you're buying real crystals. You understand? But anyway, I wanted to throw that in there because I bought some crystals some time ago, and what I had to do was take those crystals, clean them off, and because I didn't want the people's energy attached to me, clean them off, and I start putting the, there are days when you have high energy, and there are days when you have low energy. So what I start doing is manifesting my high energy into my crystals. So when days that I feel bad or whatever, I can put those crystals beside me and I get that energy from those crystals. You people need to understand how to transfer energy, because it's very key. Health is maintained when chai is balanced and flows freely. It cannot flow freely when you don't know about chakras. The seven churches in Revelation, that is your chakra systems. The number seven is 9 times out of 10. The number seven in the Bible would probably be related to the chakra system in you. Okay, now Shy is balanced and flows freely, but illness or dysfunctional can occur it because blocked, because it's blocked or imbalanced. Shy as the cosmic flow. In this sense, Shy represents the vital energy in both the material and spiritual realm. The feminine and masculine forces represent the balance of these elements. When I talk about feminine and masculine, I'm not talking about outside of yourself. You have feminine and masculine inside you. If you do not have feminine and masculine in you, you are a counterfeit spirit. Okay? That's all I can tell you. If you don't experience it, because all of the soul children have feminine and masculine in them. When the feminine and masculine come together within the body, it that is the marriage of Christ. Okay, just wanted to let you know that for those of you that are still in the Bible. Why do I go to the Bible? I go to the Bible because I want to show people that the Bible is not a physical, literal book. It is a science book. That science in there. It is a book pertaining to the sun book. It's a book pertaining to you, your mental and your physical, and it's all allegory. So that's why I go into the Bible. I'm not a Christian. I don't profess to be a Christian. I've never professed. I've always been different. But the word Christ is another word that that they use uh, to say is the soul, which is inside you. You know, there are different names they give the soul. They don't just, in each culture they have the soul called by different names, and that's probably why some people get confused. They're talking about the same thing in each culture. Shai represents the union of the feminine and masculine principles in you, whereas Melchizedek is derived from the feminine wisdom, the dark melanin, melatonin. The cross of Shai represents the intersection of these energies, creating a balance that resonates with the harmony of the universe. Shai is the 22nd letter of the Greek alphabet. I've given you a list of the Greek alphabets within my charts so you can see what they look like. Now, according to Stedman's medical dictionary, the phenomenon Shai, Eastern life forces pronounced Ki or spirit, is the wound of creation. That's what they call it, the wound of creation. The letter Z or the letter Z is the 26th letter of the modern English alphabet. The principal darkness, Melas, Melas, the great mother, is the womb of creation. However, it was shown that Shai is the 22nd Greek letter and is associated with the life force energy through the body, known as QI. Christ and divine protection in Christian tradition. Remember, I said they used the Christ. Christ is another word for the soul, okay? The life force energy. in the Eastern and esoteric belief. That's another word. Life force is another word for soul. Transformation and crossroad. In mystical and mm, alchemical trance tradition, that's what they call it. Balance, harmony, and spiritual guidance. Now, Z is the 26th English letter, correspond to Zeta, Zeta in Greek. Okay, now Shy derives from the concept of Q, which refers to the vital energy and the life force that flows through living beings. And TCM, Shy is thought to circulate through channels in the body called the meridians and the chakra system and crystals, as I said before. Um, Now, the meaning of Zedek in Hebrew symbolizes balance or stability, derived from the root meaning of righteousness and justice. They'll put the word king in their Bible concordance, they'll put the word king, which really it's okay for them, but it really was the great mother. All they've done is taken everything that was pertaining to the great mother and put the father there, or they put the king there. Uh, they made it masculine. They don't realize that we know, those of us that have feminine and masculine in us, we know that the great marriage takes place within self, uh, through the feminine and masculine connection, not outside. They tell you that you must hook up with a masculine person. No, that's not true. Probably the only way you hook up with a masculine person outside of yourself is because you don't have a soul. But those that have a soul, you have to hook up with in yourself the feminine and masculine. That is the marriage. That is what makes you whole. The person that calls himself Jesus in the Bible said that you must be made whole. So, what you must be made whole is the feminine and masculine come together. In Psalms 89:14, justice and judgment are the habitation of thy throne. Mercy and truth shall go before thy face. That's what it says. Now, remember I told you Melchizedek is justice and judgment. See, it's not going to say Melchizedek, but it did say justice and judgment is Melchizedek. Okay, but they call it the king, justice and judgment, but it's actually the great mother. The throne, remember, Isis means throne. That's what Isis means, throne. The only one that can sit on that throne is the great mother. Like I said, the masculine has removed the great mother and put a male figure in there. You're gonna hear some people say that there is no there is no gender in the creative force. That's a lie. I tell you how that flow. You had the great mother that created the stars. The stars are the feminine aspects. There were no masculine there. Okay, they are feminine. They are feminine. And I'm gonna keep on telling you that. You ain't gonna find it nowhere. You have to go inside yourself to know what is truth. Can't nobody tell you truth but yourself, and that's inside of you. The great mother put in all her soul children the truth. Spiritual alignment. In mystical tradition, Zodiac is often associated with aligning with the divine or the higher self. To live in righteousness, is to live in a state of spiritual integrity, where one's action, thoughts, and spirit are in harmony with the divine plan. Now that's when your feminine and masculine come together. That's when you can really make some magic take place. Now the symbol of balance. Zodiac symbolizes justice and righteousness, connecting the feminine, the nurturing balance principle, and the masculine, the kingship and authority, balancing both forces for the betterment of the self and the world. In Melchizedek, a figure bridges these two forces, representing the union of spiritual wisdom and earthly righteousness. Why? Because Melchizedek is melanin. MEL is melanin. Okay? The cosmic and the esoteric symbol. In spiritual and mystical context, zodiac righteousness represent the balance of cosmic laws that govern both the physical and spiritual realm, symbolizing the union of divine wisdom and justice. Now, suppose we understand Melchizedek as a symbol of union of heaven and earth. Chi is the cosmic energy that flows through all things, including the human body. The Melchizedek figure and the various elements like milk, the milk and honey that they talk about, the land of milk and honey, that is within yourself. The milk represents that comes from the pituitary gland, and the honey comes from the pineal gland that connects us to the higher wisdom. Now, let me see here. I don't want to go past because I have a third piece. Oh, okay, that's connected. Okay, so all right. So the symbolism of tithing and blessing, which is Malachi in Genesis. The word tithe, a tithe means giving 1/10. A symbol of offering a surrender of a portion of yourself, not no money, to the divine. Who is the divine? Within yourself. It is said that man only uses a tenth part of his brain. So it's talking about within self, not no money. It is about spiritual wealth, the offerings of energy, effort, and intention toward the higher realm. The tithing, the bread, and the wine represents acts of giving and receiving spiritual nourishment, while the number 10 signals completion and divine order. Tithing to Melchizedek is the soul. Offering represents acknowledgement, the divine principle as the source of abundance. It is about recognizing that all energy flows from the soul. And when you align with the feminine principle by giving, you are in harmony with the cosmic flow. The favor that follows the act of giving in both Malachi and Genesis. I'm talking about Malachi 3:10. Represents the overflow of feminine energy into the material world, bringing peace, wisdom, and prosperity. The feminine soul is the one that receives and gives, but she does not out of lack, but from all abundance, overflowing nature. The bread. The bread is the life force, and wine is the spiritual essence, symbolizing the transformation power of divine grace. The act of receiving bread with wine from Melchizedek represent the divine initiation or empowerment of the seeker. One is nourished materially and spiritually, while one is aligned with the divine will. The balance between material and spiritual realms shows how two work together in alignment, in enlightenment, and self realization. The Great Mother as the feminine energy of the soul. Melchizedek is the Great Mother because why? I'm giving that to you. And the male is the melanin, chi is the life force, and Dek represents justice and peace. Now, because she encompasses the energy of creation, nourishment, fertility, and protection. The soul, as the feminine principle, nurtures and shapes the divine energy, and she is the trustworthy source of life, favor. When these favors are spiritually insight and material success and emotionally healing. Let's see here. Okay, so I go all the way down to, okay. Now, as the Great Mother, Melchizedek embodies the cosmic womb that gave birth to the stars or all things. In the sense, the feminine principle is not passive but active in creation, holding the universe's energy together and offering the space in which all things can grow and evolve. Electrons and the masculine. The electrons represent the masculine aspect. It is an active, dynamic, and internalizing representing willpower and movement. However, the masculine electron is not the source. It is directed and energized by the feminine soul. The electron's masculine acts within the boundaries and directions the soul, which is the feminine, sets. Without the feminine soul, the masculine electron would have no focus, nurturing to creation. The soul is the cosmic mother, and the electron is the force that manifests outwardly from the space. The soul, feminine, is the container and the nourisher and the source, while the masculine electrons act with directions and movement. Connection to the melanin. The root male, MEL, can be linked to melanin, a pigment responsible for skin color, eyes, and hair. The, the melanocytes in the skin produces melanin. It is associated with protection against UV radiation and the dark aspects of the body, the protection and the hidden power within. In Latin, male, MEL, means honey, which is pineal gland. The same word is used in honeycomb or sweetness. In many languages, symbolizing not just spiritual sweetness. Melanin, regulation, flow, order where it starts. This is the order where melanin starts. Okay? It starts from the neutral tube. The neutral tube forms early in embryonic development and gives rise to the central nervous system, which includes the brain and the spinal cord. Melanin production begins in, indirectly here, as the neural tube is where stem cells will start differentiating stem cells. Stem cells in the neutral tube differentiate into neutral ectoderm, which will later give rise to different types of cells, including melanocytes. These stem cells are multipotent, meaning they can give rise to multiple cells types, including those involved in pigmentation. The neutral ectoderm, that's ectoderm. The neutral ectoderm is the portion of the ectoderm which is the embryonal outer layer that gives rise to the central nervous system and melanocytes, pigmentation cells. Melon producing cells and melanocytes originate from the neural ectoderm. Then the melanocytes. The melanocytes are special cells that produce melon, the pigment responsible for skin, hair, and eye color and protect the body from UV radiation. This cell are located primarily in the epidermis of the skin, but also exit in the brain in the substantial nigra and the retinal. Melanin production. The melanocytes synthesize melanin from the amino acid tyrosine and via a series of enzymatic reactions, primarily involving tyrosines. Melanin is produced in melanocytes organelles called melanosynthesis, and these transported to surrounding cells such as keratinocytes in the skin. Melanin's role in the brain. Let's see. Substantial nigra. Melanin plays an important role in the dopamine. I might be pronouncing these words incorrectly, but it's okay. Y'all know what it is. Production. The dopaminergic neurons in the area helps regulate motor control and emotional responses. This role of melanin in the brain is significant in the context of spiritual awakening, stimulating both intellect, which is earth, and spiritual awareness, which is beyond earth. Melanin also protects against oxidative stress, which can help maintain both health over time. Now, melanin and the hormonal regulation. Various hormones signals regulate the production and distribution of melanin. Key hormones, such as those from the pituitary gland, influences melanin production. The hypothalamus also regulates the pituitary gland, indirectly influencing melanin production through the body hormones pathway. Now, melanin derived from melatonin derived from melanin. While melanin is responsible for pigmentation, it is important to note that the precursor to melanin, serotonin, can also be converted into melatonin in the pineal gland. which regulates sleep wake cycles and essential to maintaining the balance between rest and spiritual awakening. When melanin does not appear, it is a deficiency, which comes about because of the absence of melanocytes. These cells, called melanocytes, are responsible for everything. The tree-like melanocyte cells in the deeper epidermis produce melanin. Okay, that's the end of this video. The next video coming is 3 of 3. I will. I'm not going to list anything underneath the videos, but where you can go references. I'm going to give you some references. I'll put those underneath the video. Okay, people, on to the next video. Take care.